not been able to escape the craze around the Margaux bag for what feels like forever now. And this is obviously like the fashion girlies, if you know, insider type of it bag. You know, the normies of the world, Gen Pop, they don't know that this is one of the most highly sought after bags right now. It is forever sold out. People are paying premiums for it to get it on the pre-loved market. This is just a bag that has a huge cult following behind it, and it is one that celebrities are wearing, influencers are wearing, not because it was gifted. We know that the row doesn't really roll like that. It is just a really popular bag. And I think it's become so popular because it's a really nice departure from a lot of the very specific, widely recognizable bags like Birkins and Kelly's, like the Chanel Classic Flap, you know, like those bags that everyone knows and recognizes right away. This was just like a total 180 from that. So it's become incredibly popular. But because it's so popular, it is also incredibly hard to get. And so I know there are two camps of people. There are people that love this bag and that are obsessed with it and can't get enough of it, have multiples of it. And I know there's also a camp that like doesn't understand the craze behind why people would pay over $5,000 in some sizes for this bag. So regardless of which camp you're in, if you are interested in this style and size of bag, I have gone and found some great alternatives for you all. Now, first up, we have this giant bowling bag from Saint Laurent in this beautiful brown suede color. And this to me gives Margaux vibes for so many different reasons. Obviously, just like the overall shape of the bag with the top handle feels very reminiscent of that bag. But also I think it's the slouchy nature of it. A lot of people who like the row, you know, they like wearing it kind of like under their arm, kind of like carrying it like a big little package. And so this bag you can definitely do that with. It makes me think of people like Elsa Hosk who are just like so effortless, so chic. They carry bags like that. I personally don't. I'm not gonna want to carry a bag like this, but a lot of people do. And so with this bag, you can definitely do that because it's soft, it's malleable, you know, it's got give to it. And I think that's one of the reasons why people like the Margaux so much. And I think that this bag is a great option. One, because it comes in a lot of different leathers. So you've got suede here, you've got regular leather, and then there is also a croc-embossed leather if you want to add a little bit more visual interest. I also love the gold detailing on it. You all know how much I love gold. It just feels very chic, very classy, and I think this combination is beautiful. It's also got different types of straps. It's obviously got its handles, like its top handle, so you can carry it in the crook of your arm if you want. You can just carry it down by the side if you want. But then also you've got this removable shoulder strap. And I think this is really nice because it gives you some added functionality. So that way, you know, if you're traveling or if you know you need to be hands-free, you can pop on the shoulder strap and just go and be about your day. But if you want to just take it off and just carry it top handle, again, in the crook of your arm, then you're definitely giving the Margaux vibes. And I think my favorite thing about this bag is definitely the price. This is $2,600. I mean, the cheapest Margaux is like in the 4,000s and they can go all the way up to like around 6,500. So this is literally a fraction of the price for a bag that to me feels just as stealth well and just as luxurious. Another great alternative, especially if you are into some of these smaller sizes of the Margaux, would be this beautiful Turismo here from Jacquemus. Now, this again has a very similar shape, feeling, and just like overall essence to it that the Margaux does. But I love that this has a lot of different colorways. Obviously the row, it's very muted, right? They're doing a lot of beige, gray, black, Bordeaux, and like dark green are like their biggest pop colors. But here from Jacquemus, you can get all these beautiful different pop colors. I mean, look at this yellow. This is such a bright ray of sunshine. So that's a beautiful color. I also love their green. That's really fun too. You all know how much I love green bags. They have like their basic black, which is great if you really want that like very like neutral tonal type of look. And then they also have their croc-embossed version, and it looks to be a suede. So this is like, I think, a more like fun version of the Margaux, but still gives that like undercover vibe because it's not, you know, doesn't have big logos on it. It doesn't have a whole lot of signage. This really is like an under the radar type of bag, which is beautiful. And can you believe that this one is less than $1,500? I was literally shook when I saw the price. We know that Jacquemus does have good prices for their bags in general, but for such a big, substantial bag, and Jacquemus is good quality, I mean, this is one of the cheapest luxury bags that you will find on the marketplace. And for it to feel so luxurious and so upmarket, I think is like hats off to them for being able to pull this off and sell it at this price point. Now, if the reason you like the Margaux is because it just feels so ladylike, you know, so dainty, just so elegant, you are going to love the Hudson from Demellier. Now this one does have a little bit more hardware than the Margaux does, so that's a little bit of a slight difference. Obviously the Margaux, you know, virtually no hardware, but I personally like the amount of hardware that's on this bag. Now there is also a little foil stamped Demellier logo at the bottom, but to me that doesn't feel too big. It doesn't feel too in your face, but this just feels like a very elegant bag. Like I feel like I just keep using that word, but there's just something about this that is so chic. And for me, I love all the different versions that they have here. You know, they've got it in suede, they've got it in leather, but I especially love their canvas, like mixed media version with the leather. This to me is giving like Hermes Etoile vibes. You know what I mean? That's how it feels. This feels so like you're just going to the Hamptons type of thing. So I think this is beautiful. And also one great thing about Demellier is that you can also personalize this bag. So you can actually get your initials added to it, which I feel is like this next level of stealth wealth, because I feel like when I think of old money people, they've always got like monogram everything. So I think that being able to add your initials onto this or just something else that's meaningful to you, that's a really nice like added layer of like extra personalization and luxury that's really nice. And honestly, I feel like Demellier really almost like underprices their bags because they are so beautiful and so well made. The Hudson is only $750. I mean, like seriously, like this is an incredible price point for a beautifully crafted bag. And so if you've been dreaming about the Margaux, but that just is not your price point at all, definitely take a look at the Hudson from Demellier. Now you're gonna laugh because we have a bag to talk about from Khaite, and it is called the Khaite bag, although it's spelled differently. This is such a chic bag. Oh my God. So this reminds me of like a much larger and much chicer version of your granny's coin purse, you know, that all of our grandmas had when we were kids. This is that, but like to the chicest nth degree level. But I will say, you are gonna have to pay for it. This one is $4,800, so it's not inexpensive by any stretch of the imagination, but I just can't get over like the little gold, little like knobby turn lock that it has here. That's beautiful. And I just love the overall like trapeze shape of it. It seems to be a perfect size for an everyday type of bag. And I like it that the handle that's on it, it feels like it can be worn both like in your hand, but like as like a top handle, but then also in the crook of your arm and also as a shoulder bag. Like this actually feels very versatile. So you can wear it a lot of different ways. And also this one comes in so many different colorways. I mean, obviously you all know how much I love blue. When I saw the bright blue version, I was like, holy moly, like you can't get this type of bright blue, like big, luxurious leather stealth ball type of bag anywhere else. Name somewhere else that you've seen one like this. You can't, because it doesn't exist. They even have like a little like python embossed leather one. So if you want snake skin, but without actually getting snake. Also, true python's quite annoying because the scales do lift. And so if you just get like this like python embossed one, you won't have to deal with that as much because it's true leather. It's not as delicate as a snake skin. So I think that this is a wonderful one. I especially just like how the straps kind of go out at the ends. Like they're not taut with the bag. They don't fall flush with the bag. They just kind of stick out a little bit. I also would love to see how this bag wears over time. I think it will be really beautiful. I think it's structured enough that it will keep its shape, but still show some like beautiful signs of wear, which I really like. So although this one isn't like a more budget-friendly option, I mean, we know that Khaite has good quality. So if you like Khaite, you should check out the Khaite bag from Khaite. Now, there is no way that we could talk about alternatives to the Margaux bag without talking about the Empire bag from Coach. I mean, this bag is like sold out all the time. As of right now, when I'm looking on the website, there's actually one colorway available and it is their dark navy, but you can see that all the other ones are sold out. I'm sure later when I go to take screenshots of this bag and put it into the video, honestly, the dark navy is probably going to be sold out too. This is such a popular bag, and this one is just very functional. You know, again, it's got the top handles, it's got the removable shoulder strap. It's a great weekender type of bag, and then one that you can just kind of like schlep around, throw everything that you need in it. And this is also, I believe, the best price point on the list at $695. And the best thing about this bag is going to be the leather. We have seen how Coach leather wears over the decades. Look at all of the vintage Coach leather bags out there. They look more beautiful than they did the day that they were bought. So that I think is my favorite part about this bag, is that we know that the leather is just second to none. I feel like Coach does not get their flowers enough when we talk about their leather, just because their price point is a little bit different than some other luxury brands. Coach was actually like my favorite, like first luxury brand that I bought when I was a kid. And I feel like it's because I knew that Coach quality was impeccable, and I love to see that they're finally getting some of the recognition that they really deserve, because the Empire bag and all other bags really are just beautiful, and so this is a wonderful alternative to the Margaux. Now, we know our friends at Prada. They often do a very close inspired version of the latest It bag, and this is no exception. You can see that this is a direct interpretation of the Margaux. I mean, it is basically Prada's version. The only difference is that they put a little Prada emblem on it. So this is a much more like literal alternative. This is basically, it's not a dupe, you know, but it's basically same but different. And this one's $4,400. So this like kind of lines up around with like the starting price point of the Margaux from the row. Pretty standard, you know, I mean, there's nothing really to write home about this one, other than the fact that it is beautiful. And if you are a Prada fan and you like the Row Margaux, then why not get the Prada version? I mean, it is a beautiful bag. I like the little buckles on the side, and I like the little ring around the top handles to kind of keep them together if you need it. So this is just like a run-of-the-mill type of alternative, but it is beautiful, and you can get it online, which is great because you definitely can't with some of the Margaux bags. Next up, we have a pricier alternative, and it is the Ciao bag from Bottega Veneta. And this is actually like kind of sad, because I believe this is the last hero bag we're getting from Matthew Blazy, since he's now over at Chanel. So it was almost like, ciao. Bye, see you later. So this to me, although it doesn't look exactly like the Margaux, to me it still kind of feels the same, and it actually has a lot of the same functionality. This one has a little top handle here. You know, it's got the flat top closure over it, so you can definitely make sure that this is closed and secure. And then it does also have the shoulder strap, very similar to like the Andiamo, so that way you can pull it and you kind of use it in whatever way you'd like. What's interesting is that this one obviously does not have the Intrecciato weave on the outside. It does have it on the inside. It does have a center divider. So it is obviously got a little bit of that nod to Bottega Veneta's like most famous type of like leather weaving. But for the most part, other than like the strap and just a little bit in the middle, other than that, it's just smooth leather. So it is a little bit different for Bottega, which I like. But I think that's why it does feel more stealth wealth. Like it's not as easily recognizable as a Bottega bag. I think the trouble with this one is obviously the price. I mean, with tax, this will be a $10,000 bag. So this is a very expensive option, but I mean, a lot of you all I have learned are incredibly wealthy. So I know $10,000, some of you all don't even sneeze at it, but I would definitely sneeze. I would sneeze a lot of times at spending $10,000 on a bag. But I've just got to say, I think there are very few brands where I think $10,000 is worth it for a bag. I do think for Bottega, $10,000 is actually a fair price, simply because their bags are crafted so well, the leather wears so nice, and it is such good quality that lasts for decades. So I do think, although this one is very expensive up front, if you're looking for more of like an heirloom piece, like one that you will have for the rest of your life, one that you can pass down, this is definitely going to meet that criteria. And finally, the last alternative that we are going to talk about is actually from the row itself. And it's one that I feel like just hasn't gotten the same type of traction and hype as the Margaux, but it is the India bag. And specifically, I think the India in the 15.75 size is the one that to me feels almost identical to the Margaux. I mean, they've got a lot of similarities in terms of shape, in terms of overall feeling and aesthetic. In this particular size, it's not available in as many like colorways and leathers and materials as the Margaux is, but obviously that's because the Margaux has totally taken off. I feel like this is a very similar type of bag. I feel like it's almost like if the Margaux and like one of those like doctor's bags, like the little bowling ball bags, had a baby, that's what this bag is. So I just think that this is one that if you really are just like a row fan and you really want to stick with the row, then this is a great alternative for you. I also really like that this one's got like a little padlock on it. That's a really nice detail that always makes bags feel a little bit more luxurious. It does have the zipper top, and then it does have the two top handle straps that are big enough to be worn, I believe, over the shoulder. So again, you get that great versatility from this bag. So that wraps up the list of alternatives to the Margaux bag from the row. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Obviously, there's a cult following behind the row and the Margaux bag specifically, But I do think that a lot of these bags evoke the same feeling, the same vibe, and could give you that same type of empowerment that I think you would feel from having the Margaux. So I hope you enjoyed this list of alternatives. And if you did, I would really love it if you could just give this video a little like. Just give a little thumbs up down in the corner below. And if you haven't already, what are you doing? You need to subscribe to my channel so that way you can get all my latest content about all things shopping delivered straight to you. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Lily and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye everyone.